Like in the last class, we have discussed all about what is root and what are the different types of root. In today's class, we are going to start with modifications of root. Okay. So, first of all, modifications of taproot. Here the primary root itself will modify and it will serve certain or the other purpose. This purpose can be storage, it can be protection, it can be sometimes respiration as well. Okay. So the first type that we are going to discuss is fleshy root. Fleshy roots, they are meant for storage. They will be storing reserve food material. Okay. So, the fleshy roots can be of 4 types based on their shape. Like first is conical. So, conical roots are cone shaped. That means they are the widest at the base and they will be tapering at the apex. Hence giving rise to a cone shaped structure. So, this conical roots example will be of course carrot. Next is fusiform root. Fusiform root, it will be spindle shaped. This is spindle shaped. Okay, this is cone shaped. Alright, so spindle shaped means it will be widest somewhere in the middle and it would be tapered at both base and apex. Example will be radish. Next is napiform root. Napiform roots are top shaped. Means they will be almost circular and suddenly they will thin out at the apex. Alright. So they will give rise to a top shaped structure. Example will be turnip and beet. Finally, coming to tuberous root. They don't have as such any specific shape. They don't have any specific shape. They have an irregular pattern. So in that case, we call them tuberous root. Example will be Mirabilis jalapa or 4 o'clock plant. Alright. These are modification of taproot. Now next, let us see a few modification of taproot branches. Let us now discuss a few modifications of taproot branches. Okay. We are to discuss 2 modifications here. First is nodulated roots. Now, as you can see in the diagram, nodulated roots are certain of the roots found in leguminous plants. Okay. Plants like pea, groundnut, soybean, alfalfa, etc. Mainly those members which belongs to Papilionaceae or Leguminaceae family. Now, in such families, the plants will bear certain large, irregular swellings throughout the root, mostly arising in the secondary and tertiary branches, but a few might arise in the primary root as well. Okay. So these circular structures, they will be known as nodules. Okay. Now, these nodules actually consist of millions of nitrogen fixing bacteria, that is rhizobium. Okay. The bacteria rhizobium, it has the capacity or capability to convert atmospheric nitrogen into various nitrogenous compounds. Alright. So the plants will receive nitrogen from the bacteria, whereas the bacteria will get ready-made food or shelter from the plants. So here both the partners are getting benefited by each other and we call such associations to be mutualisms. Now let us discuss the second one, that's pneumatophores. See, pneumatophores are also called respiratory or breathing roots and they are mainly found in plants which grows in mangrove habitat. Okay. In mangrove habitat, the soil, it lacks oxygen. So that's why for the roots to breathe inside the soil is not possible. In such a situation, to survive, the roots have taken up a strategy which is as such. Here, the root branches, instead of moving inside the soil, they simply start arising out of the soil. Okay. So that it looks like this. See, this is the main plant body and all the lateral roots or the branches, they started to come out of the soil. Okay. So if you look at this structure in more details, you will find that the tip of each of these roots consists of minute pores, and these pores are known as lenticels. Okay, it is through these lenticels that exchange of gases would take place. Alright, examples would be Avicennia, Soneraceae, Rhizophora, etc. Alright, now let us discuss a few modifications of adventitious root system. Starting with storage or fleshy roots. Their main purpose is to store reserve food material. So first is tuberous root. Tuberous root consists of a single tuber. Okay, whenever there is a single tuber which arises from any other part other than the radical, we will be calling it a tuberous root. Example is sweet potato. Next is fasciculated roots. Fasciculated roots, on the other hand, arises as many tubers. If there are many tubers arising at the base of the stem, in that case we will call it fasciculated roots. It's commonly found in Dahlia and asparagus. Next is palmate roots. The palmate roots are also just like tuberous roots, but they will be much more wider and they would appear like the human palm. Hence we call it palmate roots. Example is orchis. Now let us discuss a few of mechanical roots. Okay, these are also under adventitious roots. Now mechanical roots, as the name itself suggests, are roots which provide mechanical support to the plants, and they are of two types, prop root and still roots. First, about prop roots. Now in certain plants like banyan, where the crown of the tree, this is the crown of the tree and this is the trunk, isn't it? So the crown of the tree being so much large in diameter, sometimes the trunk may not be able to withstand such a heavy weight. Okay, so at that time, to provide additional mechanical support to the trunk, the prop roots arise. So these roots, they are adventitious. Why? Because they are arising from the aerial branches. Okay, see here, from these aerial branches, these rope-like structures, they will start arising out. They would possess a root cap at their tip as well. In the moistened state, they will also turn pink to red in color. Eventually, these rope-like structures, they will touch the soil, and as soon as they touch the soil, they will start forming a grip onto the soil, and they will then start taking nourishment, water and minerals from the soil, and also by getting nourishment from the main plant body, eventually they may turn very big. They may become very thick and sometimes indistinguishable from the main trunk. Okay. One such example can be seen in the Indian Botanical Garden, Howrah, which is called the Great Banyan Tree. The Great Banyan Tree is 200 years old and it consists of 1,775 prop roots. The main trunk, because of some infection, has been already removed. Now, moving to the next one, that is still roots. Still roots, on the other hand, are such mechanical roots which will be arising in plants where the stem do not have any branch. Okay, rather it remains as a unbranched columnar trunk-like structure. For example, in sugarcane. Okay, it's an unbranched columnar trunk which we call as culm. Okay, C-U-L-M, culm. Now, because it does not have any kind of branches and it is a long unbranched trunk, there is more of additional support it would require to stand upright, or otherwise it will fall off. So that's why from its lowermost node arises certain thick and strong thread-like structures in a circular manner, like in the form of a hole. This is a hole-like structure. Hole-like structure means keeping a common center if structures will arise all surrounding it. Like in a flower. In a flower, the petals will remain arranged in the form of a hole. Isn't it? Similar way, here from the lowermost base, many thick thread-like structures will arise in the form of a hole, and as they reach the soil, they will now start forming the fibrous roots, and eventually they will start absorbing water and minerals. So they will not only be providing additional support to the culm, also they will be helping in absorption of water and minerals. Example will be not only sugarcane but also maize, sorghum, etc. So here we have reached the last part of the root. We are here to discuss a few important roots which have some vital functions to perform. So let us start with assimilatory roots or photosynthetic roots. So these are the roots which will allow photosynthesis to occur. Okay. So this type of roots are seen in aquatic plant like trapa, which is commonly known as water chestnut. Also it is found in a terrestrial plant, Tinospora. Okay. Now for the trapa or water chestnut, see, these are the inflated leaves that are helping the plant to remain afloat, and this is the stem. This long portion, this is the stem which consists of nodes and internodes. From the nodes, these leaf-like structures arise out, but these are not leaves, rather they are continuously branched adventitious roots. They have so many branch-like structures so that there is more surface area for photosynthesis to occur. Okay, so these are the adventitious roots which are found in water chestnut or trapa. Now, similarly in Tinospora, from the nodes, certain kind of thread-like structures, green thread-like structures would arise out during rainy season. These thread-like structures arising out would help in photosynthesis and hence are the assimilatory roots. Later on, as rainy season will be over, they will shrivel out. Okay. Now, moving to the next type is hostorial or parasitic roots. Now, the name itself suggests that they are going to be acting as a parasite on a host plant. Okay. The most common example for this is Cuscuta, which is locally known as Akash Bale. Okay. Now, hostorial or parasitic roots, they are as such, or in case of Cuscuta if we talk about, Cuscuta is a yellowish color plant. It does not possess chlorophyll to extract sunlight. Neither does it have any connection with the soil so that it can absorb water and minerals. So what it does is that it will produce certain hostorial or you can say parasitic roots, which are also called suckers because they will help in absorption. Okay, so they will produce this parasitic roots which will enter and they will invade the xylem and phloem both of the host. Host can be any plant like citrus, ziziphus, duranta, etc. Okay. So these roots will invade the xylem and phloem both of the host, and thus Cuscuta is known as a complete parasite. Okay. Whereas there is another plant called Viscum. Viscum on the other hand is a green plant, so it can photosynthesize, but then it does not have any connection with the soil. That's why it cannot be absorbing water and minerals. That's why Viscum will also produce certain parasitic like roots, but these roots, they will only invade the xylem of the host, not the phloem. So that's why Viscum can act as a partial parasite. Alright. Next, moving on to epiphytic roots. Epi means above, phyta means plant. So these are certain plants that will remain on the surface or on the body of other plants which will act as a host here. So epiphytic plants, they will only occupy a part of the body of the host. They will not be attacking or harming the host in any other way. Only they will occupy a little bit of space in the body of the host. That's why epiphytic plants which grows on top of other plant bodies are also known as space parasites. Okay. Here we have taken the example of Vanda. See, in Vanda there are three types of roots present. These are roots, the branch structures, which are the clinging and also absorbing roots. So these with the help of these roots, the plant will cling onto the body of the host. Also, if some dust particle or rainwater will fall on the body of the host, with the help of these particular roots, the plant will be able to absorb those. Okay? But the main is this. These hanging irregular shaped structures, these are thick and spongy, and they are called the epiphytic roots. Alright? These epiphytic roots, they remain lined up on the outside with a layer of dead spongy tissue called velamen. They are made up of velamen. Now, what is the speciality of these roots? Their speciality is that whenever air will brush against them, whatever moisture will be present in the air will be successfully absorbed by these roots. That's why they are very important for the survival of the epiphytes, and we call them epiphytic roots. Okay? Next, moving on to floating roots. These are found in some aquatic plants like Juicea. In this plant, these are the adventitious roots, and some of or a few of the adventitious roots, they will swell up, become inflated and will remain filled up with gas, so that they will make the plant light and will allow the plant to freely float on the surface of water. Hence, they can act as floats. We thus call these adventitious roots filled up with air or gas to be floating roots. Alright? Finally is the last, the reproductive root. This is the diagram of a sweet potato. See, sweet potato, even if it is a root, it is an exception because roots usually don't bear buds, right? But sweet potato is an exception as it can bear buds. So during favorable condition, when all the, you can say, factors are favorable in the surrounding of the plant, these buds that are present in the sweet potato, they will germinate, giving rise to young plants like this. So that's why, as because this root is able to give rise to new young plants, that's why the root here is known as reproductive root. Alright, so with that we come to an end with the root section. The next we'll discuss is stem, and that we'll do in the next class. Thank you.